welcome to the Elementalists. Today we follow our daring friend Gwimdar-Hash Ernuli Babakar Takarr, otherwise known as Gwim. We follow him through his journey as he discovers what he truly has to become in order to defeat his old friend and teacher, Gray, the Lord Poko. So, let's get right into it. Without further ado, the Elementalists, Chapter 4. Gwimdar sat in his home. Not knowing what to do, he just stared at the wall, contemplating. Gray was crooked. Gray had been his teacher for 20 years. He just couldn't understand it. And then he thought. It was only less than a decade ago that Gray had gone on that mission and all of his companions had died. He told us it was an elemental. One of those ancient beings had apparently woken up and decided to wreak havoc. But he also told us that he was able to defeat it. He used his power of flame to absorb it and overcome it and destroy it. After that, he was so cold. He seemed to have gotten better over time, but I suppose he just fell into depravity and didn't want anybody to know. Well, the time for thinking was done. So Gwym rose from his chair and thought, as a part of the system, there is nothing I can do. Gray is too rooted deeply. So he knew what to do. He went to his closet, put on his coat, a hat, and a mask. One of the ancient masks of his people, the first settlers of the city of the desert of Garan, the Taruniki people. So, he went into the night on his first patrol as the gentleman. As he was making his way forward into the darkness, stumbling on things, not used to skulking about. But he knew what he had to do. He breathed in water, launched it forward and latched onto a roof, and pulled himself up, gaining his footing atop the rooftop. He looked over the city. I will save you from his influence. Gray will no longer have control over you. No, I will save you. Every drug dealer, slave owner, and rogue in the city. I will defeat them all, whatever the cost. Gray had to be stopped. So Gwym launched himself into the night, taking off, until he finally came across what looked to be a simple mugging. Gwym jumped down, walked forward. Stop! In the name of the Pokos! The man turned around and looked at him, up and down. In the name of the Pokos? Who are you supposed to be? Some kind of knightly gentleman?
coming to take care of us.
Gwym looked down. He forgot. He isn't a Poko. Not tonight. He is something else. A gentleman. Yes, you could say that. I am a gentleman.
Right, well, I'm gonna get back to my business. So, Mr. Gentleman, you can either move along, or you can join in the mugging, and I can get you too. In fact, you look quite fancy, so I'm gonna go with that.
Yes, I think I'll go with the being a part of this as well. Gwym walked over calmly, and as the goonish figure walked forward as well, hunched over.
Right, well then, you're gonna give me all you have, or I'm gonna stab you, and you're gonna bleed all over the floor. You can just get on your knees and give me all your loot.
Gwym looked down. I think not. He pulled out a dueling cane, a long cane made of metal, solid and unbreakable. I think not. And he swung the cane, bashing it against the man's head and slamming him against the wall. He continued to walk forward, jamming the cane into his abdomen. Oh, that's not right. That hurts quite a bit. Slamming it up into his chin, cracking his jaw. The man screamed out, but then Gwym kicked up at his throat, slamming his foot into it. And the man dropped, gasping and holding his throat. Now, young lady, would you like this gentleman to escort you home? The woman looked up at him. Okay. Of course, my lady. And he escorted the woman home, as any gentleman would. In the morning, Gwym made his way to work, dressed as a Poko. Bit giddy. He's taking the law into your own hands thing. He's quite fun. Well, can't do it much. Too dangerous. But that mugger was good practice. I cannot call myself a Poko. I must remember that. Gwym made his way into the Poko garrison, and reported to the Lord Poko Grey. My Lord Poko, it is Gwym. Ah, Gwym. Come in, come in. Gwym made his way in and sat down. Gwym, I heard an interesting tale. Something that happened last night. Some masked vigilante. I'm sure it was just some noble know-it-all who came to ruffle some feathers. However, we cannot have masked vigilantes wandering about. So I want you out there and patrolling. And if you see the masked vigilante, take him down and bring him in. Vigilantism is unacceptable in my city. Gwym rustled a little. Of course, my Lord Poko. He got up, he turned around, and started to stalk towards the door. When Gray called to him, Gwym! Gwym stopped. Yes, my Lord Poko? You're not calling me Gray like you usually do. Yes, of course, Gray. It's just, well, some of the others were talking about how informal I speak to you, and I think they were right. Ah, I see. Well then, carry on, my friend. Yes, my teacher. Gwym turned around and made his way out and back onto the streets. This time patrolling as a Poko. He made his way to that same alleyway to check up on things. It was empty. I did an alright job of keeping my safe clean in the area. Good. He made his way onward, finishing his patrol and his shift and returning home. And then night fell. The moon fell upon the city of Enendar, the capital of Quran, as Gwimdar-Hash Ernuli Babakar Takarr, now known as the Gentleman, made his way across the rooftops. He chowed down on some of the earth to give him boosts across the earth and buildings, launching himself forward, using the water to push himself and keep himself steady. Well, I do not see anything in particular. He looked around and suddenly he heard a scream. What was that? Danger. He launched himself faster than ever, stumbling a few times as this was not what he was used to. And finally he made it to where the spot was. 3 men, armed, dangerous, converging on another young woman. They can't catch a break. He launched himself forward, breathing in his water pouch and casting out 2 water whips and slamming them into 2 of them. They were slammed into the ground. The other one turned around. What? And he slammed his foot into the earth and launched it upward, slamming it into the man's face and knocking him backward into a wall. They were all out. He walked forward, bowed to the young woman. My lady, would you care for a gentleman to guide your way home? Yes, please, thank you. And another young woman in the city was saved. Or so he thought. For the next night, as he was patrolling, he heard another scream, and as predictable it was, there was a young woman being surrounded by 5 men. Jeez, 5 men against 1 woman. They need to be better fighters, I guess. And he jumped over, but this time they were expecting it. 1 is random, 2 is a coincidence, but 3 is a pattern. They were ready. They turned around and they started throwing stones at him from their slings. What? They slammed into him, ripping holes in his coat as he landed. Well, that was unexpected. He made a water whip and slammed it across one of them, knocking him into the wall. 2 more water whips extended, wrapping around 2 of them and slamming them into the other 2. They were on the ground. They looked up at him. You won't get away with this. Well, it seems I already have. He turned to the young woman. Now, would you like a gentleman? No, I'm good. Excuse me? I wouldn't like a gentleman to guide me home. What are you talking about? Men and your stereotypes. And she slammed her foot into the ground and launched a stone at him, bashing into his chest. The air left his lungs. She breathed in a large gulp of air and blew it at him, slamming him into the wall. What? Now it would seem that you're in quite the predicament. Did you think you were the only Earth Elementalist in the city? It's not that uncommon. You Yes, yes, I'm their ringleader, I know. But, when you have the powers of of an elementalist, people seem to fall in line. Let's see how well you do without them. He pulled out his dueling cane, launched forward, swinging it at her. She slammed her front into the ground, brought up an earthen wall. He hit the wall, and brought it down himself, launching water at her. She used her air to bend it and blow it aside. And then she brought out two scimitars and launched forward and launching herself into the air, spinning about and slamming her two blades into his cane, snapping it in half. Well, that was unexpected. What kind of metal are those blades? The good kind. The kind you can't get easily. She launched herself forward again, swinging at him. He dodged backwards and launched himself onto one of the buildings, grappling it with her tentacles, and brought himself up and scurried across the rooftops, going as fast as he can. Well, that was unexpected. Now I know. He continued on his way, finally making it back to his home. The danger subsided. Okay, maybe I am not a super awesome warrior god. I have to remember, no backup, just me. I can do this. And my first task is to get that crazy lady off the streets. Holy crap. And with that, he ended his patrol for the night. The next day, Gray was furious. How have you not caught them yet? It's making us look bad. 8 individuals caught. You need to find him, this gentleman, and bring him in. This is your task, Gwim. Do it! Of course, my lord Poko. I will get it done as fast as I can. See that you do. Go! Gwimdar-Hash Ernuli Babakar Takarr made his way out and onto the streets. It was working. Gray was mad. Be that as the Lord Poko and being made to look bad, or maybe these men were a part of his dealings. He did not know. And he was going to get those swords, that metal. He had never seen anything like it. And he could use a dueling cane made out of it. So, once again, as the gentleman, he made his way onto the streets at night, making his way across the rooftops, doing much better this time, much less clanking, and much smoother travel. Launching himself from rooftop to rooftop. It's not so bad once you get the hang of it. Almost like walking. Just step on one roof, launch. Step on another roof, launch. Finally, he heard some rustling. Oh, what's this? He made his way over the roof, and he saw a group of men huddled together. Alright. Here's the plan. When they get here, and they bring the troop, we are going to take it from them, and then we're going to take them out. There's only room enough for one gang in this city, and that's our mistresses, Madam Wind. Yeah, about that Madam Wind. I always thought it was weird that she was called Madam Wind. I know she's an air elementalist, but isn't that a little on the nose? Like, that gentleman guy,
He's a water earth elementalist, and well, he seems pretty cool. The Gentleman. That's a cool name. Shut up! You don't want Madam Wynne to hear you say that. She was very upset that she didn't catch him last time. She was even more upset that she didn't kill him. Okay, two opinions. One of them I like. The other one? Oh, okay. Well, time to do my gentleman duties, I guess. Let's see what they're doing. After a while, two figures, a large imposing man and a young woman, were making their way through. The imposing figure was carrying some kind of large sack on his back. Well, another one busted. This is what you want to do? Uh, well, I suppose it's good training for you. I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. It's, it's not like I can immediately go find the monster fire thing and be done with it. I don't know how to use my abilities very well. Yes, we have guests. As the large man said that, the gangsters jumped out of the alleyway, pulling out their blades. Yeah, you do have guests. I'm gonna get ya. Yeah, right, we're gonna get ya, and it's gonna be great. I'm gonna rip you to shreds, yeah. Was that good, Daryl? Yeah, it was good. You're gonna rip him to shreds. I like that. The two men launched themselves forward at him, while the other two men went around the sides. Well, girl, show me what you can do. As he said that, the gentleman landed. Now, sir. Making a fine young lady take care of you? You seem like a good, bit large enough figure to take care of this. But do not worry. I will take care of it for you. And as he was about to step forward, the young girl, Rhea, launched forward, decked one of the men in the face, spun around and kicked the other, sweeping out his legs, and then axe kicking him in the side. Oh, that does not feel good. She spun around. I've been saving this one in. That's not a good idea, girl. Still want to try it. Boom! She launched out a concussive sound, blasting both men up against the walls and shattering the wall of the nearby building. You're lucky that was an uninhabited warehouse. Oi, training you is ridiculous. You have no sense of self-control. I'm trying. Hey, whatever. You, what are you doing here? And who are you? Well, I thought I was going to be here to help, but it seems you two had it handled. Who are you? I asked you first. Right. My name is Gwyn. I am the gentleman. Your name is Gwimdar-Hash Ernuli Babakar Takarr. You're the only one trained enough in the city as a Poko, has the name Gwym, or something akin to it, and is of the Taraniki people. You know the Taraniki? Yes. I do know of the Taraniki. Oh, well. Very well then. My name is Gwimdar-Hash Ernuli Babakar Takarr. It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Raya. You don't happen to know about any giant fire monsters, do you? Giant fire monsters? Yes, it would have been about 7 years ago.
Do you... Lord Poko, Grey.
Gray's alive?
You know Grey?
I don't really know him. He was more of an acquaintance. He saved my life.
From a giant fire monster. One of the old elementals.
Yes. It would have taken control of him.
Well, that explains a lot. Well then, it is a pleasure to meet you, Rhea. I think we have much to talk about.